CCR youth group in West St. Paul, Minnesota. And I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about investment and what does that even mean, especially investing in your sisters. I know that sometimes we throw out the word investment and people are like, oh, woohoo, like, I don't even know what that means, great, you know? But I think that that is something that's super important to build sisterhood. And I think some like practical ways that we can do that and just like really learn how to love one another is by scheduling time for one another and making time to be with our sisters. And in a world that's so crazy and so busy all the time, I think sometimes we forget that and we're just like, oh, let's just hang out or whatever, instead of saying like, at this time we're going to hang out for this long so that we can actually have like a good solid conversation so that I can know you and so that you can know me. And instead of like, we need to just take more time to be with one another and to learn how to love one another. Also, sometimes like when we're hanging out with one another, it's hard to be invested, and maybe sometimes that's because we see these people all the time, or we're just with them all like a lot. And so I think one thing that's really important is to just to put down our phones or put down our iPods or put down whatever whatever we're distracted by, and really just take time to invest with one another and to just be with one another one-on-one. And whether that means leaving your phone in the car, or whether that means putting them in a big pile and like stacking them all up and saying, all right, whoever touches their phone has to like give everyone $5 or something, you know, like something dumb like that. Like that's an idea, just to really be there for one another and like be with one another. And another big thing is like to just have women time, because sometimes it's like always guys and girls and they're hanging out together, and that's great and that's beautiful and that's wonderful, but there's something that's so precious about like just being with other women and just being able to like be women and like wear your sweatpants and whatever the heck, and it doesn't matter, you know, and just like you can talk about anything with these other women and like learn from them and learn from their wisdom. Yeah, so my like main thing to help build sisterhood is invest.
Hi, my name is Greta. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I go to CCR youth group there. I'm a senior, so I'm 17. And I just wanted to kind of talk about the importance of being intentional with our relationships with our sisters. Listening well is something that's really important, because we all like to talk about ourselves, but not everyone is really good at listening. And it's really important to honor our friends by listening to what they have to say, even if we get a little impatient. But really to humble yourself and not talk about yourself as much as you listen to others. And following up with questions, I think, is really important too, because that makes them feel like you were really listening to them and really valued what they were saying. Truly knowing your friends well is important too, knowing their likes and dislikes, the things that they are involved in, what they did this weekend, so you can ask them questions like, how was that, how did that go? And with likes and dislikes, I think gift giving, having a meaningful gift that's more personal, is better than maybe an expensive gift or just a gift card. Even if you spend a couple dollars on something silly that is kind of like an inside joke, that's really meaningful, and they'll remember that and really feel honored and loved by receiving that instead of something that's a little less personal to them. Meaningful conversations are also important. Talking about things more than just boys, especially kind of real talk, conversation that you might feel a little vulnerable in sharing things, but really to just humble yourself and be very open with your sisters, because they'll know how to help you with your struggles, or just really love you through whatever you're going through. Just being really honest with them, and answering more than just saying good. If they say, how are you? Something like a specific thing about how your day went, that will start a conversation, instead of just both of you standing there awkwardly like, good, 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 good. And real compliments are something that is very rare in today's society. because we're so focused on possessions, we'll say how I really like your scarf, when really we should be saying like, I like that color on you, it really like compliments your eyes or something. Or something more about their personality too. Like I know the best compliment that I've ever received was from one of my friends. She told me that she loved my laugh, and she like always just had to laugh when I laughed, and that was really like warming to my heart to know that like something that I wasn't even thinking about, like I was just giggling at whatever, really brought her joy too. So being not so focused on their possessions but on their personality, and complimenting them in that. And compliments are not just icebreakers. A lot of times we'll see our friend and like, oh, I like your shoes, just because we don't know what else to say. But really being loving to your sisters by telling them that they do look beautiful today, or that you like their laugh. So yeah, be intentional in your relationships and work hard to love your sisters.
Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I'm also part of the CCR youth group there. One part of sisterhood that is really important to me is unity. And I think a great threat to unity is comparison. As women, it's really easy for us to compare. We walk into a situation and we look at another girl and we think, oh, they look so nice today, if only I look like her. Or we also compare personalities and talents. Oh, she's so talented, she's so good at sports, if only I was like that. And when we do this, when we cultivate this competition between each other, it really drives a wedge between unity, and that other girl becomes the enemy. But she's not the enemy. The devil is the enemy, and he uses this weapon of comparison and competition to really separate us as women. And it's really dangerous. And the thing is, we're all given our own unique gifts. We're all given our own unique talents, and the Lord intends us to use those for each other. And when we're together, unified, using these gifts for the Lord, it's something really beautiful. So that's why this comparison and competition is so dangerous. So it's really, really important to be unified, and one way to help combat the comparison and the lies of the devil is to give a real honest compliment. When you see someone doing something, using their gifts, using their talents for the Lord, instead of saying, oh, if only I could sing like her, if only I could be like give talks as well, or whatever it is, and go and compliment her. Say, you gave that testimony beautifully, you sang beautifully, or you look beautiful right now, whatever it is, in whatever area we're tempted to compare. Instead, just to give them a real honest compliment, and that will encourage them to keep using their gifts for the Lord. In addition, pray for them, pray that they continue to use their gifts for the Lord, and pray for yourself. Pray that you're able to find, recognize your own gifts and use them for the Lord. And as you become more confident in your own gifts and your own identity in the Lord, you'll be less tempted to compare, and the devil doesn't have power over you. He doesn't have this power to drive this wedge between sisterhood. And so that's why it's really, really important to be aware of how deadly competition and comparison can be. So instead of comparing, instead of making them the bad guy, recognize that this is the devil's work, and the Lord wants us to be unified. He wants us to grow in sisterhood together. And unity isn't about just like glazing over problems and acting like these don't exist, because there are times when say someone is flirting with someone, or they're intentionally trying to get at you through comparison, and there are times when those issues just need to be addressed. But by yelling at them or jabbing or a passive-aggressive approach, all of that it cultures this competition, and it keeps it going. Instead, sit down and talk to them. Correct each other in love. And it'll kill the competition, and it'll spread unity just through sitting down and working out the problem through love. So unity is really important to sisterhood. Remembering that it's really important to love even when it's difficult.